10 victories in a row. Welcome to Gunnar Corner. Arsenal extended their winning streak to 10 straight games, including all competitions. To be specific, 7 Premier League victories, 2 Europa League wins, and also a League Cup win. The Gunners scored 30 goals in the process, meaning averaging 3 goals scored during this period of time, which is very impressive. Having lost the first 2 games early in the season against very difficult opponents, Manchester City and Chelsea, this definitely represents a dramatic turnaround for the better. So looking at all the statistics and all these results, there's only one logical conclusion. Unai Emery is a genius, and Arsenal are never going to lose again, right? Let's look into the stats a little deeper than that. While it's definitely a positive that Arsenal can go out there and get the job done while scoring 30 goals in the process, it's interesting to note that 22 out of these 30 goals came in the second half. Arsenal only had the lead 3 times out of the 10 games at the interval, meaning that the team kind of struggles to be effective in the first half. Not only in terms of scoring goals, but also in terms of the performance, controlling the game, and having the right flow. As a matter of fact, it was worrying multiple times that the team would really struggle and be backs against the wall against the opponents in the first 15 to 20 minutes of these games. In addition, we're talking about teams that are strong, competitive, but we're not talking about the very best of opponents in terms of their talent. Out of all the opponents in the Premier League that Arsenal have beaten, only 2 of them are in the top half of the table. The League Cup win came against a lower league team, and the 2 Europa League victories came against arguably the 2 weaker teams of the group. Struggling early on against these opponents is not very encouraging when Arsenal will soon face some more difficult tasks like playing in Lisbon against Sporting or against Liverpool at the very beginning of November. On the bright side, the team seems to be extremely confident, strong, and efficient in the second half of games, scoring 22 goals, either taking the lead or in certain cases turning games around, is very impressive. They know what to do. They don't get scared of the situation or the unfavorable matchups in certain cases. They go out there, score goals in numbers, 22 in 10 games in the second half, and it's pretty impressive. It has to do with the coach. So while it's early to call Unai Emery a genius, he definitely does something very well. He's reacting to situations almost perfectly. But again, we're not talking about the most difficult of opponents just yet. And this is something of a pattern in case of Emery. If we look at his resume at Sevilla, they were really good at beating all the less talented teams in the league, but they would regularly struggle against Real Madrid or Barcelona. Of course, they're very difficult opponents. But there's something to learn here. In the Premier League, if you want to challenge for the title, you have to be able to get some points against your direct rivals. Arsenal have not done that just yet. On the plus side, they are extremely efficient against the less talented teams, which is the other key of being, competitive in the league. Finding the right balance would be key if Arsenal would want to compete. I don't feel they're there just yet, but it's very encouraging that they can get the job done against almost any opponent that is not that talented as they are. Especially so because in the later Wenger years, it was a common problem that the team dropped points against the smaller clubs, against teams in the second half of the table. And it's very difficult to make up for those points, especially because you have to do it against the top teams. Now, if we want to further analyze this, we can see that it's not only the early or first half performances that are not quite there yet, it's also the defending in general. Arsenal only kept 3 clean sheets during these 10 games. Granted, they won them all, they scored 30 goals, you can outscore your opponents, but once again, we're not talking about the elite level opponents where it becomes extremely difficult. If you start a game poorly, you concede a goal or 2, to make a comeback in the second half, as we saw against Manchester City or Chelsea, for example. And as for scoring 30 goals, the best thing about it is the flow, is the confidence level of players like Ozil, Lacazette, Aubameyang, Mkhitaryan coming on at times. It's really good to see that they're performing close to their highest level, that they have the confidence, that they're smooth football, free-flowing football at times that they can all benefit from. And when that's not happening, they can also make that instant impact of scoring a goal from basically nothing. So despite the struggles with the overall play, that's something that any opponent in the world has to be afraid of. And it's great to see, and it's great to have. And it's something that the team can definitely build on in the future. In an earlier video, I talked about managing expectations and being realistic about the team's performance. And this is very true right now as well. Not just in bad times when people tend to overreact after multiple defeats. It's also true when everything's going well. We don't have to jump to conclusions. It's not necessarily an unbeatable team just yet. We have to realize who the opponents were and how the team actually performed. But confidence should be sky high, so I expect some great results, and I really hope that they can extend this streak. With all this winning going on, it was easy to lose track of some of the business decisions that the club made. For example, the announcement of a new kit manufacturer coming in starting next season. It's true, it used to be Nike, now it's Puma. Very soon, it's going to be Adidas. Details of that deal were discussed on my Instagram channel. Gunnar Corner YT is the handle. Go there and check it out. Details about the channel and the link to it are in the description. Check it out. Follow me if you find it interesting. That's it for today. See you in the next one.